What we consistently pay attention to shapes the way we feel. When we focus primarily on what we perceive as being wrong in our lives, we tend to feel miserable. But when we shift our focus to what is fortunate in our lives and take the time to feel grateful, life becomes much happier. But making that shift can sometimes be challenging. For those who are unhappy, it can genuinely feel like there's nothing to be grateful for. You might look at your life and just see problem after problem. You might only see things that didn't work out, the things that seemed to be missing, or the mistakes that you made along the way. And maybe there are also experiences from your past that you keep replaying in your mind. Painful memories, resentments, regrets, and disappointments. And the whole idea of practicing gratitude might feel more than just challenging. It might feel dismissive, as if you're being asked to pretend as if everything is fine when it isn't. But that's not really how gratitude works. It's not about ignoring actual problems or pretending that everything's perfect or forgetting the hardships that you've gone through. It's about recognizing that there's more to life than just problems and difficulties. In the same sense that it would be foolish to pretend that problems don't exist, it's also foolish to think that life is nothing but problems. What I'm getting at here is that there are both positive and negative aspects to life. And our tendency is often to focus almost entirely on the negative aspects, to focus so much on the negative that we lose sight of what is good. And so this practice of gratitude is really about shifting our focus and giving more of our attention to what is good in life, not in a way that ignores problems, but rather in a way that keeps us from being consumed by them. But the question is how to make that shift. That's where so many people struggle. For many people, the mere suggestion of practicing gratitude might sound as if you're being asked to force a feeling that is disingenuous. And that's just not how gratitude works. For gratitude to work, it has to be sincere. And maybe the issue for some people is the word itself. Gratitude implies being thankful. And many people feel as though they have nothing to feel thankful for, especially if you've had things taken from you, or if you've been left to figure your life out all on your own, or if you've had to struggle for everything that you have. To be thankful seems to imply that there is someone else who we owe our gratitude to. And it may be hard to feel thankful when it feels like you've had to do everything on your own with no help from anyone, or if you're still struggling just to get by. So I think for many people, it's better to just put aside the word gratitude and instead to focus on appreciation. Because to appreciate something simply means to recognize its value. And the value of something has less to do with how it came about, whether it was given to you or whether you had to work hard for it, and more to do with what it adds to your life experience. Does it make your life easier or more pleasant? And what I'm getting at is that no matter how difficult life feels, or no matter how dull or bleak or empty, there are always things to appreciate. It's just that we have a tendency to overlook them. So what I'm asking you to do is to just begin to take notice of these things. And they don't have to be anything big. It can be as simple as appreciating the bed you sleep in, the food you eat, or even a quiet moment of rest after a hard day's work. It's often the most ordinary things in life that we take for granted. But if we had to live without them, we would soon realize how valuable they are. If you had to sleep on a hard floor, you would quickly realize how fortunate it is to have a soft bed. But when you're accustomed to something, when you've never had to live without it, it's all too easy to take it for granted. And so the practice here is to consider what you might be taking for granted. It's about making a conscious effort to look for the fortunate things in life, the things that are working, the things that are supporting you, the things that are providing value in some way. To shift from focusing exclusively on what seems to be missing and to acknowledge what you already have. That's the practice. The practice is looking for things to appreciate. And when you do that consistently, what begins to happen is that gratitude arises naturally. When you see the value in what you have, and when you really appreciate it, you feel grateful in that moment. And the more things you find to feel grateful for, the happier you are. And now this doesn't mean that all of our problems disappear. It doesn't mean that we're never going to face challenges or experience grief or frustration now and then. What changes is your attitude, as well as the overall quality of your life experience. How we focus our attention affects how we feel. If you're always focused on what seems to be a problem or broken or lacking, it's only natural that you're going to feel unhappy most of the time. But when you shift your focus and get into the habit of consistently recognizing what is good and pleasant and fortunate in your life, you're going to feel much happier. So what I'd like to encourage you to do starting today is to take some time to look for what is good in your life, to look for things to appreciate, no matter how small or insignificant they might seem, and to try and maintain this practice. And it's not as if this is going to change your life overnight, but the more that you engage in this practice, the more you'll notice a gradual change in how you feel. At first, you might just feel a little less stressed or overwhelmed, maybe a little more grounded, a little more at peace. But over time, you'll notice that your happiness increases. And so, in other words, the more time we give to appreciating what we have, the happier we tend to be.